friendship with August. And we actually became really, really good friends. And it all started with him just needing some help. You know, me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Because for me, that was the thing when Aug first came around, he was really sick.
He was really sick, yeah. And from there, you know, you and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August.
Entanglement story. So basically what happened is that in a recent episode of the Red Table Talk, which is Jada Pickett's show that she does on Facebook, she sat down with her husband Will Smith to talk about an infidelity or an entanglement in their relationship. Basically, she had an affair with August Alsina, the singer. And August Alsina, about 2 or 3 months ago, brought it up in a Breakfast Club interview. And everybody kind of dismissed it, saying he was making it up. And at the time, Jada Pinkett was dismissing it. She was acting like he's lying, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And plus, she was playing on the fact that he has a past history of, you know, mental issues. So, of course, most people believe Jada Pinkett coming off as the more stable person.
Yeah, that's the spin. That's the spin, the media spin.
Right, that was the media spin. But fast forward to this week, come to find out, August was telling the truth the whole time. Jada Pinkett, like I said, sat down with Will on the Red Table Talk, and Will asked her straight up about the situation, and she did confirm and admit that she had a relationship with August Alsina, but she claimed while her and Will were separated. And she never called it a relationship. She never called it an affair.
Smart.
She called it an entanglement.
Very smart.
So,
I like that.
With that being said, Jay, how do you feel about this whole entanglement, affair, or whatever you want to call it?
That's something, that word entanglement. To involve or is to entangle, to confuse or be perplexed. That's an interesting definition of the word entanglement. First off, if you're in relationships, married or not, you're going to have ups and downs. I just feel like, we all have issues we can play on to make whatever we do wrong seem right or it's okay. At the end of the day, it's like, for me, do you agree or disagree? I mean, I disagree, being a married person. You're going to have your good, your bad. I just don't think that Jada should make it seem as if like, hey, it's cool because we were having a rough time. So we were separated. But you still married. So, as far as I'm guessing, they vows said for better or for worse, death do us part. I'm guessing that was in their vows. I don't know if they had some new vows.
No, they had regular vows like everybody else.
Okay. Well, maybe when you reach a certain financial platform, you can change up your vows or something. I don't know. But for me, it's like, hey, if you're married, then, you married. Like, yeah, we talk about it.
Ain't no free pass.
You get a free pass, you get a card. You go out and you do what you do. So I guess for me, if you're married, then it's not a good look. But then you can say, well, who's wrong in this situation? Is it Will, Jada? Is it August Alsina?
Let me ask you a question before I get, because you said for better or for worse. So is this not, to me, that's for better or for worse.
That's good.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, when you talk about people trying to make their relationship work, because like you said, it is gonna be ups and downs, peaks and valleys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just with her how she defined it as an entanglement. That's just a blip on the radar. You know what I'm saying? That's just a down. That's a valley.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, you know, is it when you say for better or for worse, do people just say that shit and not really understand what it means? Because when you talk about a marriage being for better or for worse, this is one of their down times. If something bad happened, you know what I'm saying, that the average man probably couldn't deal with.
Right.
Like Will Smith was looking extra weak on television.
Very.
He's looking super
Very.
weak. But like the way he handled it, I mean, it looked like, I don't know if you ever saw that movie Seven. You see it. The same
The
he probably
pursuit of happiness
yeah.
look. The pursuit of happiness look in his
He
eyes.
had a Hancock look.
No, it was the pursuit of happiness. He knows exactly what
When
scene
the
I'm talking
white guy
about.
in the movie rejects him, tell him, hey, and they have to sleep in the subway or something like that.
No
He
hope.
got that look in his eye.
All the hope was
about
gone.
to cry,
Yeah.
about to give up. That's
Yeah.
the look he had in his eye.
So did he think about this? Is that what he thought about? Like Jada cheating on him in the pursuit of happiness? Because it was the exact same
It was.
face.
It was
the
that Fresh Prince, why he don't want me look.
Yeah,
He hugged Uncle Phil.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So when I hear for better or for worse, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, this is one of the examples of for worse. And to me, you know, what I would take away from it is this is a couple who are fighting to stay together. You know what I'm saying? They literally fighting to stay together because think about it. If you as a man, for this to come out, and you be Will Smith, you played Mike Lowry.
Yeah.
You was a man in Bad Boys too.
Yeah.
Yeah, your bitch is jumping up and down on some unknown nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like a
No,
no
he
name.
don't.
Well, you know what I mean.
No.
I'm
Definitely
just
know
saying,
now.
like,
What?
August Alsina, Will Smith, like supposedly Will Smith. would be a crip.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So for him to see that and know that going into it, and basically, I feel like this whole thing is kind of a cover story. With her saying entanglement,
Yeah.
like that's a very to me, the word that she used, the wording that she used is very deliberate, and it's a beautiful word.
Mhm.
And I want to touch on why she chose that word, or why I think she chose that word later on in the episode. But I'm gonna pass it off to somebody else. Right now.
Let me interject here because I think this whole thing is, like you said, somewhat of a cover-up, but
Yeah.
it's more of a media patch-up. It's kind of like this situation that's going on with them, it's not the first.
Yeah.
I believe that they got a leak. It's kind of like when you got a covert operation going on and you're getting away with it, then you get a leak. You get a whistleblower, somebody that betrayed you, and they come out and they tell what's been going on.
Yeah.
So now it's like a media friend. It's like, oh my God, we got to fix this. So what's the best thing to do? Sit down. How can we capitalize on the situation? We're not going to just go out to the media and say it. We're going to do it on our show, which is going to give us the highest ratings that we ever had,
Exactly.
which is a payday again.
So you take advantage of what's in front of you. So see that kind of, you know, to me, why did he bring it up right now? Or, you know, you said it was a few months back, but why bring that shit up, period? Especially if you so-called had love for this person. Then that means if you have love for this person, you should have love for what they have going on.
Right.
Even if it's at the expense of yourself.
That's
Well,
right.
you saying Will should
I'm
understand.
talking about August Alsina. For him, for him to be that close to that family, because I've seen pictures of all three of them together.
Right. Yeah.
So for him to be that close to that family, it's almost like by you coming out and saying that, you betrayed, you know, the integrity.
Yeah. What the Smith family looks like to the media.
You see what I'm saying? It's one thing.
You're
I
gonna
think
use
you
the
said
word
it earlier.
integrity?
Yeah, because it is.
In this situation, you can use the word
Yeah,
integrity.
because that's what he threw under the bus was the integrity.
I can because, and this is why I can, because you did.
Maybe the agreement. I don't know about the integrity.
This is why it's integrity. Now it's one thing when you're fucking nobody, you know, Joe Blow and you know Alicia Blowjob, but it's like you're a celebrity. You have a certain status. So for you to blow the whistle on that, you already know the controversy. You already know the storm that's getting ready to come with that. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean about integrity, because you knew what was going to happen before you said anything. So to me, that's a calculated move.
Well, right, but here's the thing. This is where I differ. Because you got to remember what August is saying too. August is saying that Will gave him permission.
Okay.
Meaning like,
Wait,
hey,
no?
they want, because you got two different parties presenting this situation different ways.
Yeah.
Jada saying, hey,
yeah.
you know, we brought you in because you had mental issues. We're trying to help you. We got so close. One thing led to another. Before you know it, we got entangled into a little bit more than we should have. But August is saying, no, we knew exactly what we were doing. You and your husband was on the rocks. Basically kind of indicating like, hey, this whole Will Smith and Jada marriage thing is a facade. It's fake. It ain't real. Will knew what time it was. That's why, and I kind of almost can lean more towards August's story, because when you look back at some of the pictures that him and Jada took,
Very true.
and Will was there. He see these pictures just like we have. So for a real, any normal man, just a man, period, famous or not, how is it cool to have this little young dude that's, you know, August ain't a bad looking guy. He's fit. You know, he's not this dope that you figure, oh, I ain't got to worry about him. She'd never be interested in him. He's a young Will Smith, if you was, you know, if you want to put it that way. And he at the red carpet with his arm all around her. They looking like an idol. And it was all good. You didn't hear nothing about it. So I believe that she led August to believe that, hey, I'm probably going to leave Will, or we could have something. And I think the boy is genuinely hurt. I think she put that cougar monkey on him.
Well, but so
I know she got that monkey. So
but
I remember
She put it on him.
Go down dirty Shane.
that was a good one.
Yeah, and who knows how long it's been going on that they were into it.
But do you think Will is more hurt to the fact that it came out to the public?
That's what it's all about.
That's 90% of it. Because I think Will Smith actually knew. I mean, because come on, man. You live with a woman that long.
He knows.
You know what
He
time
knew.
it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think
He was
Will,
doing his thing.
yeah, absolutely. See, that's another thing. Like me, in order to see, but now, see, if he was to say, yo, fucking you, so it look weak.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, nigga, you only saying that now cause, but me, I'd have paid some little broad to be like, oh yeah, dad, Will my daddy should. I'd have paid some little broad to do that so I could be like, yeah, you know, I was doing my thing. Cause it's like right now he's you see this, you know, in business when you negotiate from a position of weakness, nigga, there is no negotiation.
There is no good.
You know what I'm saying? You literally are going to, nigga, roll over and play dead, sit up, whatever it is they ask you to do, you're gonna fucking do that.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. So when you gotta just put all ourselves in their position, it hits the news. August does this interview on the Breakfast Club. Everybody listens and watches the Breakfast Club. So you get a call from your PR person or whoever. They're saying, hey, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you might want to go on YouTube and look at August's interview he just did on the Breakfast Club. So immediately, you're in frenzy. It's a frenzy now. So first thing they're going to do, because they're a brand. Will and Jada are a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to figure, how can we protect the brand? For one, it makes Jada look like a hoe. And it makes August look like a homewrecker, which they ain't concerned about. Then it makes Will look weak. So what do we got to do? We're going to sit down and try to say, how do we want to spin this? Because you got to look at what's the ultimate outcome that the Smiths want you to have about them. Let me say that Jada made a mistake.
Let me say this, and that's why.
And Will is man enough to take it and love her through. That's the end game. That's what we supposed to be sitting there saying, hey, that boy Will a strong dude to take through that. That's real love right there. If you look at the comments on social media, that's what they intended for you to say.
It is real love, because again, it's for better or for worse. You said it earlier. That's what that is. For better or for worse means, hey, this union, no man can asunder except for death.
I think it's genuine though. I think that they're using that as a crutch.
Let me address something though before, because you said earlier, you said permission. See, and I think that's the key word that everything hinges on. That's the word that is subjective instead of subjective instead of objective. You know what I'm saying? So cause 50 Cent hit Will with, damn nigga, however he said it, his basic premise was, you gave her permission, I think he said, to get her back blew out. You know what I'm saying? August Alsina said kind of the same thing. Will Smith gave me his permission. So meaning he had knowledge of what was going on. And even the way Jada said it, Jada said, well, you just like a typical woman. Can't nobody give permission except me. Bitch. You know what I mean? But that's okay, because that's her interpretation of it. But my point is that the key word permission is what we need to be locked in on. So by permission, I think what that means is that's August's way of saying that Will knew. And if you remember what Jada said, Jada basically said that since they weren't together, the way she put it was that since they weren't together, that's what August meant by Will giving his permission, because they weren't they were married, but they were not entangled, if you will. They were not involved with each other at that particular point in time. They both said, you know, hey, do what makes you happy, and I'm gonna do what makes me happy. You see what I'm saying? So all three of them have said permission, but what it is they've done it from.
Wait a minute, Will said permission?
Well, I'm saying Will didn't say it, but the fact that Will knew, and again you have to understand they crafted a message so Will wouldn't look so stupid.
Right.
They crafted a message, but August, by saying the word Will gave his permission, to me that means, now some people will say literally, oh well, did Will actually say, hey, you can fuck my wife? No, it's not about that. What it's about is, nigga, you have said you're not with this woman. You know what I mean? And say again, this could be spin too, but I have to take it at face value. You told this woman to go do her while you go do you.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that happened.
That's permission right there.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, yeah, you may not have said, go fuck with August Alsina. You understand what I'm saying? You may not have said, go fuck with this particular person, or I may not even have had knowledge of who you fucking with. But I said, you go do what makes you happy, I'm going to go do what makes me happy. And what made Jada happy, obviously, was August Alsina beef. You know what I'm saying? This is what put a smile on her face.
But here's the thing, I believe at some point, he knew who she chose to make her happy.
Oh, absolutely.
So which further,
Absolutely.
you know, validates August's point to say, hey, dude, you knew. You seen me when I was coming to pick her up.
Absolutely.
Taking her out. You seen me around the house.
Absolutely.
You know, he knew.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, he probably was in a state like, I had some thought, but I didn't think you would be the one. Because, you know, and I've been seeing how she is around you, but, you know, to know that it was you, you know, is that really hurtful, or is it more hurtful that it's in the media?
I think that they got exposed. I think it's just a cleanup job, and they're trying to, but like I said, they're trying to spin it to say, hey, I'm so strong, I'm going to love her through this, and we're going to stay together. My biggest
That's what
question,
marriage is about, though.
But here's
See, in my eyes, that's ultimately what marriage should be about. To me.
But here's
I
the
could
thing.
be wrong.
And I get what you're saying.
So let me ask you, y'all are married.
Right.
So if I'm not saying, what I'm saying is, if this was a situation, now it's one thing, and see, I want to also talk about this because there's a bit of a role reversal. Now you see, when it comes,
Will would have did. He's been a dirty dog.
well, he'd have been a dirty dog, but the
So
woman would have been
a dude.
Do you see what I'm saying? He'd have been a dude, and niggas would have been like, oh yeah, right on. That's, you know what I mean?
Right.
But women would have just been like, oh girl, that's okay.
But they're painting Jada as like a hoe.
I'm not saying
Not so much as it would have been in the past. I think that's what I mean about role reversal. I think she's being painted in a way that the male would be painted with. You know, back in the day, where it's like, oh well, you know, I didn't really love her. You know what I mean? This is just, we got entangled. Instead of a nigga being smart enough to say entangled, a nigga would have said, I wanted the pussy. That's what a nigga would have said.
I think what kind of saves her is when she said the fact that we have been going through so much. We had a rough time in our marriage. I just wanted to.
That's what a man would say.
But I don't think a man would get that pass though. A woman can say that because a woman will say, yeah, you know, just because he got all that money, that don't mean he's making her feel good. You know,
right? Yeah,
I understand what she's saying. A dude can't say that. Dude can't say, you know, we had a rough time when our relationship. I just wanted to do something that made me feel good.
A dude can say that they had a rough time in their relationship.
Right.
What's different is the compassion. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be no compassion for that. Because as a dude, it's like, you're a piece of shit. You wanted to get a nut. Which is absolutely true.
Right.
But
right.
I wasn't happy either.
Yeah.
What
Right.
about my fucking happiness
Right.
as a man?
I guess, you know what, I guess my thing with this also plays a big role in who it is. The fact that it's Will and Jada.
Very
Because
very
Will and Jada, we all know, paint a picture of perfection. Always have. But further than that, they paint this picture that they have so much knowledge and understanding of everything. So much so that you're willing to create a whole show. You're willing to be people's life coach, and you're willing to try to tell other people what they should do in life and what direction they should go and what you should believe in and all that. So if you're so in tune, if you're so woke with everything, not saying that you can't get to a vulnerable point too, but I think that this whole thing is more crafted than people is giving credit to. I think that it was all arranged. They knew the whole. They have a history of having weird or debatable understandings when it comes to kids, marriage, everything. And it's always been a rumor that they had an open marriage.
Right.
Now here we go, fast forward all these years later, now you got something that almost validates that rumor from 2 or 3 years ago. That, hey, here you go, August is kind of saying, yeah, it was an open marriage thing. So I think they know exactly what they're doing, and they're just trying to clean this shit up.
And then to say life partner. Like,
they say life partner instead of wife and all this other stuff. Did you see the clip where they clap each other's hand and say, ride or die? They use the Bad Boys for Life slogan.
Yeah.
They say bad marriage for life. Why is it, this is what I want to know from Will Smith, why is it so important? If your marriage is so bad, what Jada said, I was so unhappy and I hadn't felt good in so long, and she put emphasis on so long, basically like, Will, you ain't made me happy in a long time. Why is it so important that y'all stay together? It's a business. It's an image.
Right.
Because in normal life, you would have came to the table by now and said, hey, this is not working. I love you. We can raise our kids.
So
they have nothing holding them together but the money and the image.
Let me ask you this question then. So, and you can say that too, the money and the image, but they do have a family together.
The kids are grown. That's usually when most parents separate. They say, okay, we raised our kids, we
I
did
get
what
what
we
you're
had to do.
saying, but it doesn't matter because they're still united by blood. They still have a family.
They can't take care of their kids by not being together?
They can. So this brings me to my question. So even if they stayed together, the point is that they stayed together, even if it was necessarily not for the right reason.
Right.
So does that make them wrong? You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make them wrong, but it's not.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm saying
make
it's
you
not
happy
what you're
is that
saying
question.
though. It's not an example for the average person to follow. Be like, look at Will and Jada.
I think it
See
is.
how they that's real love.
I think
it's
it is.
really not.
I think it is. That's their version of real love. But the reason why I say it's an example for people out here is because when you commit to a person, see, for better or for worse, and see, this is why role reversal ties in, because 100 years ago, if you go back, the woman, the nigga may have my grandfather was a monster out here in Louisiana. He had a whole family, nigga, in the same neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So, but see, that was expected. See, that's what I mean about role reversal. See, from a man's perspective, it's
But why did your grandmother stay with him?
She stayed with him out of necessity. And she probably wasn't happy that she had to stay.
But she loved him too.
She probably did. Of course.
Right.
She maybe had loved him or did love him. But my point is that at that time, women had to stay. They didn't really have an option. They did because you always have an option. But by say with no option, women who had children and weren't married then may have been looked at in a lesser light. Most niggas is not gonna deal with them. On a basis where everyone can see you, like out front.
Right.
Hey, this is me. You know what I mean? Like they'll fuck with you.
Right.
They'll hit you with meat all day. You
Behind
understand?
closed doors.
You understand what I'm saying? But there's not gonna be a situation where it's like, yeah, this is me. Because there are connotations associated with a woman who has a kid out of wedlock or who's divorced or what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? So to me, by them sticking together, by them sticking it out, that's more of a commitment to the ideal of marriage.
Yeah, united front.
I don't think
understand what I'm saying? You don't think so?
I get both sides of it.
It comes off that way.
No.
You can perceive it
See,
that
but
way.
that's why I asked you. Does it matter if it's crafted? To you, it does.
No,
If you say it like that.
It matters to me when people use it to say, see, to me, that's an example of real love, or that's true marriage.
Okay.
That's where I get a little blurred with it, because I don't think they should get away with marriage with this situation. I don't think people should applaud them for what they're doing. Both of them did some foul stuff. August is wrong too. I want to get to that too.
Right.
August is wrong. Jada was wrong, but it's like she's financially stable. Will's financially stable. And at the end of the day, y'all are together for the brand. It's not because you love her so much or we got kids and all that. It's because you want to protect the brand and you want to have this image.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll put it this way, it's a valid point right here.
Come on.
If that was the case, and y'all had these, this disagreement or this discrepancy in your marriage, then why didn't you come forward and tell the truth the first time? Why you denied August when he first brought it up? Why you act like he was crazy? If people would have took that and spin it off and said, oh, he got mental issues, something's wrong with him, Will and Jay would never do it, she would have rolled with that.
They tried to spin it.
But the stuff started getting so much traction that
it.
she was forced to address it. So what she do, she comes with a crafted way. She won't even call it for what it is. She calls it an entanglement. It's not an entanglement. He's a young, handsome guy that you found attractive, and you got it in.
But see, this is why it's an entanglement, though. This is the scientific definition of entanglement. And entanglement occurs when a pair of particles, such as photons, interact physically. You know what I'm saying? A laser beam fired through a certain type of crystal can cause individual photons to be split into pairs of entangled photons. Well, now that's very
scientific.
It's very scientific, but basically what that means is, even if I have a particle that's over here and another particle that's way over there, if I make a change in this one particle, it's going to be reflected in this particle. So for her to call that shit an entanglement, what it is it's not that she's not a part of, because entanglement and particles have implications when you talk about reality and versions of reality. You know what I'm saying? So if I have one particle that's and this is kind of out there a little bit, but to me, for her to choose the word entanglement was definitely by design.
All crafted.
Because a relationship implies something that is, mutually beneficial. Mutually something that they've come to an agreement upon, and there's a back and forth there. You know what I'm saying? Entanglement is kind of like, I couldn't even avoid this shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is some shit that just happened, and I'm in it. Now, I didn't want to be in it, because a relationship implies that that's something that you wanted.
But that's the thing, though, if they're going to be honest about it. If you say you're going to help somebody out, you help them out to a certain degree, and you move on. You let the entangle get too close, and that's when y'all became entangled, because you let them get too close. And that's like an excuse to say, hey, yeah, I get all of that, but you can't let yourself you got to be real with yourself. You know if he looked good or not, even if he was sick or whatever the whole situation was. You know if you say, okay, he get a little haircut, he woo. You know that. You let yourself get too close, and then that's where it all started. Like all that about she want to feel good. Well, go back to what y'all did in the beginning, whatever made you happy. When you and Will may just go, I don't know, wherever y'all go to some cabin up in New York or something, the Poconos or something. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have situations that come about, but for her to say, it's an entanglement. Well, how did you get there? How did you get to that point?
Here's the other thing too. Here's the closing argument that she said. However, she also said she's in a better place now, despite no longer being in contact with August. Through that particular journey, I learned so much about myself and was able to really confront a lot of my emotional immaturities, emotional insecurities, and I was really able to do some really deep healing. You see, it's always easy to say all that nice stuff after it's over.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why she said that, though. She said that because, and she said it initially, too, she was broken. She was in a vulnerable place. The man that she was broken by, let me not even say broken by, but the man that she was with while she was broken and in a fragile state, he cannot put the pieces back together. You understand what I'm saying? And
I thought the Smiths had already figured that out.
No.
But Will said, I'm not responsible for your happiness. They've had all these conversations before.
That sounds good.
That's what they said.
That shit sounds real good. That's a sound bite, and it sounds great. You know what I mean? But a person is only an individual can be responsible for their happiness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when you try to find that in other people, sometimes even if you are selfless and how you feel about that person, if they can't see it, you can't force them to see that. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that Will could have healed this woman because she felt like she was broken because of him, or her brokenness had something to do with him. So that means everything that he does, see, because perception is reality. Everything that he does is going to be perceived in a way that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's doing shit out of selflessness. And see, this is why I respect Will so much for this. Even if it is crafted. For him to be able to sit there, see, and put his ego to the side. You know what I'm saying? And ride on principle. Because again, if this role was reversed, and him as a man was doing this, niggas would be high-fiving him. And Jada would, you know, she'd just be another bitch that's crying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, this is why Will deserves a certain level of respect. Because to do this, nigga, is not easy. You Mike Lowry, nigga. Ain't nobody supposed to be fucking your bitches. But guess what, nigga? It is somebody in her. It's somebody jumping up and down in her, bro.
I think both of them were in vulnerable positions. Because Jada has a reputation too. And with him coming out, with August coming out saying what he's saying, it put her... Well, yeah. You see, and my thing with Jada too, and Will also, but more so Jada, how many times you gonna be broken in life? How many times you gonna get in front of the camera and this relationship before this, I was broken. But then I met Will, and Will completed me, and Will this. Then when you do something else, I was broken. I was going through some stuff. But every time she
what kind of glue you using? This is my nigga right here, bro.
It broke his meat off him.
Hey, well, that was the glue, the gorilla.
That's my thing. That's why I don't want to get blurred for the everyday person.
That is true.
It's like I want to reel it back in because it's celebrity Hollywood shit. It's some weird shit. I want to reel it back in for the everyday. You know what people do? Everyday people will take what celebrities do and say, see, that's just like Will and Jada. And then no, you ain't Will and you ain't Jada.
Right. That's a fact.
Why is it always when we're going through a hard, like I said, we're married. And if I go through a hard time with my wife and we're struggling, she's getting on my nerve, I'm working too much, I'm not taking care of whatever our issues are, why does it always lead to, I had to go run to the arms of this other woman? Or getting it in with this other woman was my first train of thought. Maybe I felt like, I don't think we're going to make it. You know, I don't think that our relationship, this marriage thing, maybe we were too young. Maybe we got married because we had kids. Maybe I've grown since we've been together. But I'm going to get my own place.
What if running to that?
Why does it got to be run to the arms of another person all the time? I think that's just a lot of lust.
What if that is actually what helps you stay together?
What?
Running to the arms of another person.
Nah,
but see, that's temporary.
That goes back to the person's character.
Not always.
That goes back to the person's character.
If it's temporary, then I think that says more about that particular person.
That's what I say. It goes back to the person's character.
But if it's not temporary, like the August Alsina thing, it doesn't strike me as a temporary thing because it was an ongoing thing. 4.5 years.
Right.
You know, that's temporary shit is, you know, if you just a bitch who likes dick.
That's a side piece.
I'm just saying, if you just a broad who likes dick.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter where it's coming from.
Right. As
long as it meets whatever.
Well, she preyed on that young man.
She can't be looked at
on that young man.
She probably did.
She probably helped groom him at the same time.
Look, all of that is to the good. All of that shit probably, you know, does come into the equation. But the point is, they was doing that shit for 4.5 years.
I think August.
You don't be around a person 4.5 years.
Right. That's a long time. I think August was.
That's an emotional.
I think he was out in Smith's driveway, washing a Ferrari one day with his shirt off. She was looking through the window.
Probably had on
saw
some
him
little ass
sweating
pants.
the sun. Was gleaming on his skin.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? He's a fit young man. I think she was looking out the window and she saw it. And young man. She wanted to give him some of that cougar.
What Mike F say?
That's what she wanted to do.
Look.
Because see, this is what people don't like to realize and accept. And it sounds ugly and it's harsh. But sometimes you just see somebody that you're very
You want to
attracted
fuck the shit out of them. That's a
You
fact.
just want to get it.
That's a
in.
fact. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, you, for whatever
Right is
reason,
right.
whatever's
Right
holding
is right
you
about
back
that.
from doing that,
Right.
whatever it may be, you're trying to hold it together. Oh, I can't do that because I'm married. Oh, I can't do that because that's my coworker. I can't do that because that's my boss. Whatever. But at some point, when the opportunity presented itself,
Absolutely.
she gave in.
She gave in.
Yeah, but
I don't see, and you're right. I just don't think that that's the case in this particular situation. Not for them to be fucking with each other 4.5 years, and not for.
I think she got what she wanted.
She did, but here's the thing: if it was just about dick, she's not gonna be out front taking pictures with this.
It was an
There's an emotional component to
Yeah, I
it.
get that.
There's an emotional component to it, and to me, I honestly think August Alsina, even though I don't agree with the way he did it, I think that was a real piece of shit move how he did it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he helped them stay together.
So,
Which
All
is
right.
why August is so fucked up about this.
right. So
That's why he's so fucked up
So
about it.
moving on to the closing point. Do you think August was A, wrong for even entangling with Jada? And B, do you think August is wrong for telling?
I think he's wrong because
On both fronts?
I'm just real quickly. He's wrong
Just both
because
fronts. I want to hear why you think he's wrong.
he's
on
wrong
both fronts.
because they married. Point
Right.
blank. Period. You didn't come into that situation looking to get with her. I believe you came because you were looking for help. So you wrong, and then you let it get to that point. You got to know, like, hey, they in a relationship. Much I like her, they still together. I
But
can't.
she tells August, but me and Will are separated right now.
Y'all
There you
still
go.
married.
There
You're
you
still
go.
legally married. That whole separated stuff, it sounds good to say, hey, but you're still married. You can't sit up here and say, I'm willing to, it's like people will fight for what they want to fight for. You'll stay at that job if you take it, but if you stay a little longer, you're going to get this position, you'll
Right.
put up with some stuff. But how come it make it okay to go in a relationship just like that? But it's like you fight for what you really want to fight for at the end of the day. Like, that's what I say on that.
And so on the other part, you thought he was wrong for telling, to expose.
Yeah,
him.
you're gonna be a G about it. What you gaining by telling? Are you trying to get some publicity out of this, or you trying to promote something like just be a G about it.
Right.
Keep that in your back pocket. You don't need to pull out that card.
Right.
Like,
So his position is he thinks August was wrong on both fronts. He was wrong for entangling with her in the first place. Then he also was wrong for even exposing it. But what you think?
Well, I think as far as him saying something, I think that's what he was wrong at. I think he shouldn't have done that, and I think he did that because there was something to gain and exploit there.
mm-hmm.
That's why I think he did that. Now, to the first point, was he wrong for engaging in that? I think some things are undeniable. I think that, the feeling, when you have a feeling that is so strong, and I think that they had that feeling between each other. To deny that is to deny who you are and what it is that you desire in that moment. Now, yeah, you can try to fight against it. There's some things that are they're just gonna fucking happen. You know what I'm saying? They just happen.
It's just an entanglement.
I just wrote it. Entanglement is the point. And I think that's why she chose that word, because it's kind of a conundrum. Because entanglement basically is a relationship without acknowledgement of that relationship. What it is you two motherfuckers, even if y'all like this in front of each other, your private parts are like this, or like there's no way to deny what it is on the surface, beneath the surface, or whatever level it is that y'all are connected on. There's no way to deny that. So when you become, for her to say, and again, this brings me back to the entanglement point, for her to say that they were entangled is a brilliant word, because it denies, let me not say deny, but it downplays her intent. You know what I'm saying? It downplays her intent, but at the same time acknowledging the fact that there was something there. Something there that outside, like the ideal of marriage couldn't prevent it. The ideal of the love for whoever it is that she was with couldn't prevent it. So there was something there that was so strong, that it spoke to her on a level that she probably couldn't even put in the fucking words until she came up with the word entanglement.
Okay, and I'll say this in closing on it, then we'll close out with this one. I still stick to my original point that this whole situation reflects a lot on their individual characters. If, you know, you take the marriage and all this stuff away, their character, who you are morally, who you are as a person before you met Jay, before you met Will, August, before you met both of them. It says a lot about your character. Then when you get married, it's so much to marriage. You know, the vows are really, really deep. And certain people only highlight certain parts of it.
Right.
It's also your job, like me in a marriage, it's my job to protect my wife, my family, my livelihood, my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning, I can't allow any and everything in my marriage.
Very true.
And see, so in their situation, but you're so on your high horse, you're Will Smith, you're Jada Pinkett, you got it all together, that you're so cold, hey, you know what, we're going to help this young man. We're going to take this young, attractive, strapping young man, and I'm so cold with it, I'm going to bring him in my house.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him go to red carpets with my wife.
Exactly.
I'm going to let them get entangled. I'm going to let the probability of them getting entangled. Okay? See, that's arrogance to even go that far, so you got what you deserve now. Because certain shit you don't ever do. He's not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And you would do that because you're an everyday person that don't live in Hollywood.
I can understand, because there's some things that are undeniable. Now, my thing would be is if I'm with a broad and, like, you know, she just sees some random nigga, it's like, oh yeah, I had to fuck his brains out, bitch. Now I gotta choke you a little bit. But if it's a nigga who, you know, and again, this is very difficult to say because it's about ego with men especially, but women too. You know what I'm saying? For a person to, you know, basically step out and go to another person for whatever gratification it is that they seek and need, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Because it says something about, damn, bitch, I wasn't good enough, or, you know, in a man's case, it's, oh, well, whatever it was that this woman did or does, you know, my wife wasn't doing. See, but that one that's a socially acceptable one.
Right.
You know, for a woman to do it, though, and see, this is the role reversal, and this is the thing going forward that has changed. Women, like you said, what Jada did traditionally would be perceived as, oh, she's a hoe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. It's
Oh,
the same thing.
That's
So,
the easy.
so it's all
It's
disingenuous.
the same thing that a
then.
man would do. No, it's not disingenuous. What it is you're talking about women now have the ability and the power to.
No, I'm saying what's disingenuous is that the way it's all, where they trying to basically put it out there.
Right.
As if like we don't have any issues, we all good.
Or we had this little short bleep in our
Yeah,
relationship, but now that I got August as me, and I feel so much better now, I'm not broken anymore,
Right, just-
me and Will are going to be stronger than ever. It's the very arrogance that got you in this situation. It's the arrogance that you're trying to use
wouldn't
to
do
get
that.
out of it.
You wouldn't bring nobody in the house to help them, and you know she's straight.
But that's why
That's what I'm saying.
why she
The
called
average
it.
person wouldn't do that unless it was agreed already.
That's
You
why she
bringing
called it life
this
partner,
dude
so.
that's attractive in
That's
the
true.
house
That's
because
why she said
I'm bringing
life
this
partner.
woman that's attractive in the house.
And I'ma just help.
Well, how do we know this ain't a get back? How do
It
we don't
might
never
be.
know the whole story? How do we
might
know
be.
Jada might be sitting back
It might
saying,
be.
"Oh, what y'all do?" She can't
It might
say
be.
it,
Right.
but what y'all don't know is that
It
he
might
didn't
be.
have a 4 or 5 year relationship with so and so
And
from Hollywood.
It might be, but the thing is, the fact that they were, for Will Smith to do that, and Jada even to do it, and Will to put it to the side, he chose his relationship over ego. And I thought marriage.
Or
I thought marriage
let's put it
is
this way.
supposed to be, that's
You
the point of
Will
marriage.
Smith. You Will Smith. You're a good guy. You clean, good guy since day one. You find out about August and Jada, or you see that it's getting deeper than you planned on it to get. And Will asks for food. They have it out. And Jada says, you got all this, and Will's coming to Jada and says, you got all this mess going on. Now this boy all on Breakfast Club doing interviews. You bringing all this negative attention to our brand. I'm getting ready to do a movie. Now they don't want to do it because of this and this bad publicity. You need to say something about this. You need to address it. She comes back and says, hold on, Mr. Holier than thou. What about your relationship with so-and-so? You know, so don't come at me like I'm so wrong just because the guy that I was messing with leaked. But what about your relationship with so-and-so? I tell you what, I clean this up. We're going to do it on my show, and you're going to sit down and you're going to do the interview.
Yeah.
If not, then we can all come clean.
Yeah.
And we can tell what you've been doing and I've been doing, because people need to know why I did what I did.
And I get that.
You see what I'm saying? Jay was
I
saying
understand
people
that.
need to know why I did what I did,
They
because
come out
you
with
ain't
a
been
book,
here in
tell all
months.
book
I
like on.
just think that whether they stay together for the right reason, which seems to be y'all dilemma, or they stay together for the wrong reason. The fact that they stayed together and they stuck it out, I think that should be respected.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna close it on that one. Hey, let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think that August is wrong for even entangling with her? Do you think it's a cover up that Will and Jade is doing? Let us know how you feel about it. Leave it in the comments. We would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. All right, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Holla.